This is not a smart art tutorial, so if you're looking for someone to teach you how to paint, feel free to move on. This is not the video for you. Hi friends, today I'm gonna continue working on these two paintings, and today I'm gonna do two stupid things. I'm trying out kind of different ideas with these two, and I'm gonna do something stupid with both of them. I'm gonna do something you could think of as smart stupid. No, with this one I'm gonna do something you could think of as smart stupid. And with this one I'm going to do something stupid. But before I get there, I want to show you one thing that tutorials often don't show, because it's actually quite boring, at least boring to watch. But at least for me, when I'm painting something that has many layers, I spend a good amount of time just looking at it. Looking at what I've painted and examining the textures and shapes and proportions and various other things. This is going through a major reworking, and I'll actually start with this. I'll show you a method of cheating I use. Now this is essentially tracing. It's for people like me who don't really know how to draw, are quite terrible at it, and I do it using an iPad. You could probably use anything you want with this. I happen to have one of these, so I will use this. And what I do is I have the picture I'm using as a source image, and I've taken a picture of my painting, my awful painting. And what I can do is I can adjust the opacity of the layer, and I can see that it's way off. It actually doesn't have much to do with the original picture. You know what? I'm just going to entirely redraw the whole thing. You might ask, why didn't you start with this? If you're going to trace the image, why didn't you just start with that? Why did you go through the trouble of this whole terrible underpainting, underdrawing that you're not going to use at all? And I'll tell you why. I don't know. And my logic for why this kind of cheating is above board, and I'm totally fine with it, is if you look at art history, Vermeer did pretty much the same thing. Vermeer had like a camera obscura, what do you call it, like a system of lenses and mirrors, which enabled him to essentially project the image of the model onto his canvas, and then he basically traced it. So if Vermeer was able to use the technology of his age to make art, and he was a genius, I'm just a guy. So if it's good enough for Vermeer, it's good enough for me. I'm looking at my sorry excuse of a painting, and I'm looking at this picture with the painting and the picture overlaid. And then I'm looking at shapes. I'm looking at this shape over here. And then I'll just draw a line sort of in the same place over here. And then I'm looking at where the eyes are. This eye is at the side of this thing, so about there. Here. I'm not tracing the entire thing. I'm marking a lot of the spots. I'm doing a lot of drawing here, but I'm not doing a fully traced image, because I do want to learn something when I'm doing this, not just tracing. The bad thing with tracing is you don't learn doing that. You get good results, but you don't learn, which kind of sucks. And that's also kind of why I'm doing these two different paintings at the same time. Like I said, I think this is smart stupid. Tracing using technology, taking the easy way is smart, and it's stupid. With this one, I'm going to try something just pure stupid. Now, I've had someone try to teach me painting, and there are two things that she really taught me. I was painting with oil paints at the time, and now this is really important. You can't mix oil paints with acrylics. I started with acrylics, and using oil paint over dry acrylics is okay, but mixing them or painting acrylics over oil paint, that doesn't work. You're gonna get in trouble, because first of all, oil and water don't mix. And second, and more important, they dry differently. Acrylic, one of the beautiful things about it is it dries really fast, so you can paint next day. With oils, it takes a week, sometimes even a month, for the paint to dry. Now, when you mix them, especially if you trap some oil paint under acrylic, you're gonna get weird things going on, because the acrylic dries on top and the oil paint underneath isn't dry. So when it slowly dries over the next weeks, maybe the acrylic is gonna crack or warp or something, or peel off. So it's not a good idea. The second thing she taught me is it's not a good idea to use black off the tube. You get much better results if you mix your own blacks from complementary colors. They just look nicer. Usually when you use black oil paint, you lose a lot of sensitive things happening with the colors, and painting kind of feels dull after that. So don't mix oils and acrylics, don't use black. So today I'm going to use black oil paint on my acrylic painting. And you may ask, why? And I'll tell you why. I don't know. With oil paints, you need to use linseed oil or terps or a mixture of them. The rule of thumb is you use more turpentine on the bottom layers, and the more layers you add, the more oil you add. But this time, even though it's still the bottom layers, I'm using just pure linseed oil, because why not? This drawing isn't accurate either. It's the proportions aren't quite right, and it's a bit wonky, and it's not going to look exactly like this, which I'm fine with. Now, if you love painting, you're gonna hate what I'm gonna do right now, because I'm gonna slap some gesso primer, which is basically acrylic paint and glue, and be prepared to cringe, because I'm gonna take some oil paint and I'm gonna mix it in. This is a terrible, terrible idea. This is this is stupid in a box. I've done similar things before, mixing oil-based paints and water, or acrylics, or coffee, and you get some weird results with it, especially if you use a lot of water. You get these kind of floating bits of oil on top of the water, and I think I will add some water at some point here. And the floating fragments of oil, they dry into these kind of flecks of color. Anyway, that's what I'm hoping for. Honestly, I don't know if it's going to work. Honestly, I don't know. This might be just as bad as it looks like. Now, this isn't going to be the final layer, so I'm still not worried about details, and I'm still using way too much paint, kind of piling it on. I started painting as a teenager and basically taught myself how to do it, or didn't really teach myself how to do it, but did some painting by myself, and nobody taught me, so I learned or discovered some things. And one thing I kind of discovered by accident or due to ignorance was this habit of piling an awful lot of paint on the canvas, almost like you're sculpting something or getting these textures of shapes and shadows. Just adding some oil, some linseed oil. As I'm adding the oil, you'll notice that you actually don't need an awful lot of oil paint when you're painting with oils, especially with these dark colors. I had a great time last night. I watched Eraserhead and made some drones while I watched, or I think that's kind of sacrilege to have a brilliant movie just basically playing in the background and hardly hearing the dialogue over the drones you're making. But one beautiful thing there was, because I had the movie playing, there were many instances where I really couldn't tell which sounds were me playing and which sounds were from the beautiful soundscapes of the film. And what you're listening to now is just my drones from that. I didn't want to use the sounds from the original film because I didn't own them and I don't want to steal them. As I'm painting, I'm doing two things with the picture. I'm looking at the picture quite a bit, and I'm also ignoring the picture quite a bit. Especially at this point where it's become clear that I'm not following instructions in some of the places. If you don't know what linseed oil and oil paint smells like, you're missing out on something. Okay, there's a lot of oil here, and I wonder whether or not to add water. I'll put it aside for a moment and work on the other one. So I'm essentially doing a new underpainting with this one. One of the beautiful things about painting with acrylics or oils is you get to redo things. You always get a new chance. Just add another layer. I wish more things in life were like that. And I suppose many things in life are like that. I'm still not thinking very much about what color the finished painting is going to be. I've never been very, precious about saving paint or saving time or saving, a workload or something. You could say, since I'm redoing the whole thing, you could say everything I did yesterday was kind of wasted, and kind of. But I had a good time doing it. I'm doing this basically for fun, so if I'm having a good time, it's not wasted. Even when I'm cheating, I can't get the likeness quite there. You know what? I'll do the same thing again. Just try to correct a few things I'm noticing as I'm doing this. Okay, I'm not trying to get it too finished. That kind of tracing is actually kind of boring, and I get bored doing it. It takes out a lot of the fun in painting. Actually, that's probably the real reason it's stupid, because it takes away a lot of the fun. A lot of the fun of painting is making stupid mistakes and then either fixing them or living with them. Speaking of living with stupid mistakes, let's just take this out for a little bit. I think I'll leave this for today. That's a decent underpainting. And this one. Oh man. You know, this is so typical. I started today with a promising beginning and a hot mess. And I've turned the hot mess into a promising beginning and turned the promising beginning into a hot mess. I think the whole let's do 2 stupid things today plan through. Now, to be honest, I don't have a plan. My philosophy of making art, or music for that matter, has for years been this creed. Without plan or purpose, I just follow my muse. I think it's a great plan if you want to make art for 3 decades without getting anywhere, which is what I've done, and I'm actually really happy about that, because I don't have any artistic ambition beyond living a life filled with creativity and doing this. I don't care if I progress with it. I don't care if it's good or bad. I don't care if someone else likes it. I don't even care if I like it. I love doing this. And that's enough reason for me to do it. And this stupid experiment is paying off right now. This this mixing or not mixing of oil and water, it's doing beautiful things, and we don't know how this is going to dry, because the acrylic is going to dry pretty fast, and the linseed oil takes ages to provide. So, it's going to do some interesting, weird things. Look at the beauty of that. There's an expression you say, if something is really boring, you say it's like watching paint dry. And I'm here to tell you, watching paint dry is way underrated. Watching this kind of magic unfold before your eyes is beautiful. Watching this magic unfold. You know what? I'm going to leave it for today. I'll let it dry and come back to it. I have a good feeling about this. I have no idea where they're going. But without plan or purpose, I just follow my muse. Thanks for being along for the ride. Now, people say at the end of YouTube videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. I don't care about liking or subscribing. Please go make some art or music, or go outside and find the nearest place with trees.